All right, let's get into it. We are absolutely surrounded by media, right? 24/7. But have you ever really stopped to think about how it all gets paid for? Today, we are pulling back the curtain and following the money.
Seriously, think about it. That awesome documentary you just binged, the article you skimmed this morning, the podcast you're listening to, none of it is really free. Someone, somewhere, has to foot the bill. So where's the cash coming from?
It's this fascinating, constantly changing puzzle. It has pieces from old school ads all the way to brand new digital models that are being invented as we speak. So today, we're going to put that puzzle together.
Okay, first things first. Let's get one thing straight. Money is the foundation. It's the engine that lets these media organizations even exist. Without a steady flow of cash, they can't pay their journalists, they can't keep the lights on, and they certainly can't produce the content we all watch and read.
For decades, the formula was super simple, right? You'd sell newspapers and magazines, and you'd run ads in them. Done. But then, well, the internet happened. It completely flipped the game on its head. Print sales tanked, ad revenue got way more complicated, and the entire industry had to figure out a new way to survive.
So, let's start with the oldest and, for a long time, the most powerful model in media history: advertising. The basic deal is this: the content is offered to you, the audience, for free. Why? Because advertisers are the ones actually paying the bills. They aren't buying the content, they're buying your attention.
And traditionally, this came in a few main flavors. You had your display ads, those big glossy, colorful ads in magazines. Then you had classifieds, those little text listings for jobs and apartments that were literally the financial backbone of local papers for a century. And, of course, the classic commercials on radio and TV.
Now here's where things get really interesting. The whole game changed with the shift to digital. Traditional ads were kind of like casting a huge wide net and just hoping you caught a few interested fish. Digital advertising, though, that's more like a laser beam. It uses data about what you browse, what you like, what you buy, to show you ads that are hyper-targeted, just for you. And this whole system is pretty much dominated by a couple of giants. We're talking Google and Meta, who control a massive piece of that pie.
And this is what it feels like to us every day. You've got those banner ads at the top of a web page, you've got the video ads that play before, during, or after the thing you actually want to watch, and then there's the really sneaky stuff, like sponsored content that's designed to look and feel just like a real article. Behind all of this, you have these automatic or programmatic systems buying and selling ad space in the blink of an eye.
But advertising isn't the whole story. Not anymore. We're in the middle of a huge shift towards a model where we, the audience, are paying directly for the content we think is valuable.
This comes in a few forms. The biggest one, of course, is the subscription, that recurring fee you pay for Netflix or Spotify or the New York Times. And companies get really smart about this, often using tiered pricing, a basic plan, a standard plan, a premium plan, to get as many people on board as possible. Of course, this also includes the old school way of just buying a single newspaper to shop, and even making money from live events like conferences or festivals.
And when we talk about subscriptions, there's this constant tug of war. A monthly plan is great for you, right? It's flexible, lower cost up front. But for the company, that's a higher risk of what they call subscriber churn, which is just a fancy way of saying people canceling. An annual plan is a bigger commitment for you, but it gives the company stable, predictable money and helps build a more loyal audience.
So how do these sites convince you to finally pull out your wallet? Well, they use the paywall. It's that digital gate that pops up and says, you've read your 5 free articles for the month. It's a direct response to ad money drying up, and it's basically a bet that their content is good enough that you'll be willing to pay for it.
But this leads us to a very, very modern problem. You've got your streaming service, your music service, a couple of news sites, maybe a Substack newsletter. They all want that recurring fee. At what point does it all just become too much?
And yep, there's a name for that feeling. It's called subscription fatigue. It's that moment you look at your bank statement and just feel totally overwhelmed by all the little monthly payments adding up. It forces you to start making tough choices about what's really worth it and what you have to cut loose.
Okay, so beyond the obvious stuff, ads and subscriptions, there are all these other crucial ways that media companies make money, working away behind the scenes. These are like the industry's hidden engines that most of us never even see.
For instance, a brand might sponsor a specific podcast or a segment on the news. It's a deeper partnership than just a simple ad. A company can also sell its hit show to be aired in other countries. That's called syndication. A big TV network might rent out its expensive studios and camera gear to other productions. And a lot of nonprofit newsrooms totally depend on grants and donations to fund their important work. You see, this is the magic of syndication and licensing. It's all about maximizing the value of something you've already made. A media company can produce one awesome TV series and then make money from it again and again and again by selling it to different streaming platforms and TV channels all over the world.
And I really want to emphasize how critical that donor funding is. Think about large-scale investigative journalism, the kind of reporting that takes months or even years and holds powerful people accountable. It's incredibly expensive. Often the only way that kind of essential work gets done is through grants from foundations and individuals who believe in that mission.
So we've looked at all these different models, but why should you actually care? Well, because the way a media organization gets its money has a huge impact on the kind of content it actually creates. The money trail really does shape everything you see.
And this slide just lays it out so clearly. If a site is driven by advertising, its main goal is to get as many clicks and eyeballs as possible. So the content might be designed to go viral. If it's funded by you, the subscriber, it has to focus on creating really high-quality, valuable stuff to convince you to keep paying. And if it's funded by donors, well, it can focus on a specific mission, like deep investigations, without having to worry so much about clicks or subscriber numbers.
Which leaves us with this final, really powerful idea. Every single click you make, every subscription you pay for, every show you watch. It's a vote. It's a vote for the kind of media you want to see in the world. By choosing where we put our attention and our money, we are all, together, deciding which media models get to survive and thrive. We are literally building the future of media, one choice at a time.